Hello, citizens. I am Mayor Sin, your elected Chief Administrator of Centerville, and today is the 29th day of January, year 2222. As the centralized entertainment mainframe is still in the process of being recovered, I've taken it upon myself to provide some measure of diversion during your personal enrichment time. Hello, Schlang. Today's broadcast includes. Oh, thank you. Today's broadcast includes more interactive media recovered by our archaeological teams. And together, we will learn how our ancestors amused themselves around 200 years ago. Our activity today includes the game Layers of Fear, which is about perfect immortal AI goddesses. Before we get started, I do have a quick announcement to make. Pre-incident software is not natively compatible with modern systems. Please do not attempt to install any software you might find on personal equipment. Instead, submit it to central processing for categorization and porting. As always, some measure of technical difficulties may occur due to the ancient technology that we are currently limited to. So your patience is both requested and required. But let's go ahead and get started. I do have a feeling that the background music is going to be a little loud, so if I do need to make some adjustments, I can absolutely do that. Just let me know. Okay, so let's pull up this game that is very loud in my ear, so let's turn that down just a wee bit. All right, and now we will start the game, which I have not played and know literally nothing about. So, instead of making it so I can see it on my screen, I'm going to try to make it so it's a little easier to see for you guys, because I don't want it to be too dark. So I think that looks good, because we want it to be barely visible. So I think that's a good spot. Oh, okay. Um, we're gonna do that one. Do I just um Hello, Zeph. Thank you for the bit. Okay. Yes, we will do that one. Layers of Fear is a unique immersive game experience in which every decision affects oh great affects the narrative. As in life, it is the doors you Oh, thank you for the Oh, it's a little ghost. Anonymous cheer. Thank you. As in life, it is the donors, or it's the donors, it's the doors you open, the memories you take with you, and the shadows you explore that will define who you are. This may be our game, but it is your journey. Okay. I may have loaded this to the slow drive instead of the fast drive, so we're gonna have some nice long load times. And I don't know the controls,
I know how you must feel.
and I did not look up anything with this
Lost,
game.
alone, hopeless. You probably deserve it.
Thanks!
But even for you, there is still a way. A way to bring it all back.
Even for me.
The one precious thing you ever truly desired. Finish it.
Finish him! Every portrait that is painted with feeling is a portrait of the artist, not the sitter. As Rose snores loudly in the background. Oh, why do I like... How do I interact with things? A dog muzzle? What else can I touch? Can I leave? No. What if I want to already leave? Wait, was that a cat? I swear I saw like a cat or something in the bottom, underneath the table. An artist's triumph. Gallery opening wows critics. Some call him the new, I'm bad with names. Others compare him to Van Eyck. And one awestruck critic, or Eck? And one awestruck critic, who wished to remain unnamed, went as far as to invoke the spirit of the great Leonardo. Any way you slice it, the exhibition proved to be an immense success. Yada yada yada. Distinct style has been praised for its unique combination of Renaissance influences and more progressive techniques. The artist himself attended the event in the company of his beautiful fiancée, looking stunning in her black gown. Yada yada yada. Revealed to us exclusively that the couple are indeed expecting a child? Oh, I like that it actually makes it easier to read, and I just didn't realize it. Cool. We'll just close that. I can touch everything. I'm gonna get so distracted touching everything that I don't wind up actually really playing the game. Oh, ooh. Even the drawers? Really? Okay, but can I touch them? Ooh, dominoes. Who wants to play a game? I actually really like playing dominoes. Can I crouch? Ooh, lordy. What's a development? Oh. Sir, I didn't touch the workshop. I can speak. And read. I didn't touch the workshop, just like you asked, although I can't imagine the mess that's inside. Also, if you care so much for that room, maybe you should pay more attention to where you leave the keys. I brought them back to your office. Have a nice day. Okay, that's a little passive aggressive, but why is everything like... Wait, did that door just open? It's fine. Okay, so if this is spooky, right? There's going to be ghosts. So what should we name our little ghost? To make us less afraid of our ghost. Wait, what? Mulligan? Okay. I vote that we name our little ghost Muffin. You'll be much less terrified if the ghost has a name. Can I set the fire? Okay. What can I touch? Everything. Okay. What else can I touch? Looks like almost everything. Okay. Sugar. I'm waiting for like a rat or something to come out. Also, I really just do not like the sound of the thunder. Why is there so much sugar? Does this guy have like a serious sweet tooth? I want that. I want that. I want that. I need that in my kitchen. I wish I knew how to crouch. I guess at some point I should just start flailing buttons and see what happens. Is this a letter? Hmm. Okay. Well, I guess we can use that to weigh stuff. No, we're just gonna leave all the doors open. Muffin, do not lock me in here. Is there a... Yeah, no, I'm fine with not hiding in the pantry. Oh, where did the cat go? I swear I saw a cat. Am I limping? Okay, like we're gonna... Yo, why are you making a mess? Is there a towel I can grab? Okay, bloody bandages. That's a good sign. I mean, I'm injured. Can I... Rat poison. Can I not, like, bandage myself? Okay. Below the knee. Okay, how the hell did they fuck up the length? Okay, so I have a fucked up, prosthetic, it looks like, and that's probably why I'm limping. I have no face. It is I. Surprise, I am Muffin. I am the ghost. I don't know how I feel about going into the closet. Jesus Christ. Oh, welcome in, queens. Oh, well, you know, I was expecting a jump scare. I was expecting a jump scare, but that was not the jump scare I was expecting. Um, welcome in, queen. Okay, apparently I really don't like rats. Oh, well, that was unexpected, but thank you so much for gifting the subs. Oh, I'm sure that they'll all love that too. Ooh, Enclave Initiative is E-Initiative, the one that um, I normally game with, so that's really cool. Alright, apparently I really just don't like rats, which is a shame. No number one spot for you. Okay. Basement or upstairs? Oh, well, thank you so much for stopping by. Have a good night. All the love. Okay, I am terrified of basements, so let's just get this over with. I don't like basements in horror games. I don't like anything in I don't like basements. Oh, you know what? I don't have my uh watch on, so I don't know how high my heart rate just spiked. Ugh, look, I like rats as pets. I don't oof. Are are those? Am I supposed to follow? Okay, I am less terrified of you, my little rat friend. It's okay. Now that I know you're here, we can be friends. Careful on the glass. Ugh, the dolls creep me out. And I don't know how I feel about this one lone room. Just, like, hiding back here. Okay, good. I don't have to go in. Great. I don't want to go in. This works out beautifully. Got a lot of damage to your place, my dude. I know nothing about this damn game. What is that shit? Oh, no. Nightmares. The layout of this house confuses me. Oh, no, 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 no. What the fuck is that shit? Been working all night. Don't wake me up. Fuck you.
Tumbling all around, tumbling all around, tumbling all around. I stepped right on her toes, and when she
Muffin. The new face of music. A night at the opera becomes a night to remember. Blank. Might not be a household name yet, but just give her time. The incredibly talented multi-instrumentalist gave an astounding performance last night, winning over even the most ardent naysayers. She was simply astounding. I haven't seen such passion, energy, and skill in years, stated famed pianist Daniel Richter. He was not alone in his praise. It seems that even Anthony Giles, one of Blank's harshest critics, has finally seen the light. Giles had previously made disparaging comments about the artist, stating that there's more to performing music than enthusiasm and a pretty face. When asked if, after witnessing last night's performance, he regrets those words, Mr. Giles gave us a look that could only be described as a mixture of awe and embarrassment. Pressed for an answer, he simply said, yes, we caught up with the star. ... So I'm guessing this is her room? No? Maybe? She's pretty. Galactic's grand opening in flames. Disastrous fire at the new department store leaves dozens fighting for their lives. The long-awaited opening of the Galactic department store turned into hell on Earth when the building's wiring burst into flames. While the majority of the visitors managed to reach the emergency exits in time, several unfortunate attendees were trapped in the back of the building, having no chance to escape the raging inferno. The exact number of casualties has yet to be determined, although it is estimated that at least a dozen people have been severely injured. The owner of the Galactic, Ronald Sheffield, has so far declined to comment on today's tragic events. Enjoy my newscaster voice. Oh. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I can move things. If I were to ever get married, this style of ring. Is there anything else I can play with? Oh, look, my cane. Can I not use my cane? Sorry, couldn't sleep. The leg's been acting up again. Figured I might as well do some work. I love you. Love you. I love you. Sir, clean up your damn cabinets. Close. Thank you. We'll save the bloody room. Why are all these doors open? Can I play? I don't think Muffin liked my music. It's the blush afterwards. Oh, shut up. Don't embarrass me. Yeah, Muffin has some very strong opinions about my lack of musical talent. Muffin? 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 We're just gonna ignore that. Look, a key. Huh. Okay. My dear friend, let me ask you one simple question. Have you completely lost your goddamn mind? I know you're going through some rough times right now. I really do. That's why I have agreed to let you do those illustrations in the first place, for old time's sake. I even deliberately gave you a trivial task, because I expected Little Red Riding Hood to be something you can draw in your sleep. What I didn't expect is to get this demented nightmare fuel you submitted for a kid's bedtime story. There is no way in hell I'm using this, and I already regret agreeing to a payment in advance. Please, get your shit together. Your old pal, Liam Brickstone. Whispered Tale Publishing House. I don't think he liked my rendition of Little Red Riding Hood. I'm sorry, I'll make it up to you tonight. It's all about you and me. Let's make it special, you promised. Did I just, like, leave all of her notes laying around? Here's hoping I have shoes on. Otherwise, that was probably very painful. The kids do need to learn about, you know, all the tragedies. early on. I mean, look at my other work. It's still nightmare fuel. If I'm even the painter. Watch, plot twist, I'm actually the wife who lost her mind. Oh, a light switch. Oh, my plant's dead. The true story behind the picture of Dorian Gray? Really? Is that what we're going with? If this rocking chair starts rocking, I'm going to cry. I want you all to know that. Which nightmare fuel door do I feel like going through? Oh. Is that a... Is this a nursery? Muffin? Oh. No. No. Nope. 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 We're just gonna look this way. Nightmare fuel. Nightmare fuel. Alright, we're just gonna keep our back that way. Ooh, look, a crown. Alright, there we go. Great. That was wonderful. Okay. Nightmare fuel room. I really hope that's wine. Oh, Christ. Good. Okay. Bye. Oh, God, I hate that face so much. Alright. I did not get it right this time. I did not close that door. Muffin. Do I have... Nope, I still don't exist. Muffin. Let's... Okay, no. Open it. Don't close it. Thank you. Good. That's a lot of paintbrushes. Okay. Lost. You deserve it. Finish it. Okay, let's open some drawers before we get in there. And not... Okay. I'm so sick and tired of us talking through these notes. We live in the same house, for God's sakes. Come talk to me when you're done before you go to bed. Before you go to sleep. Okay. Okay. Why are you making noises? It's just... How... Can I paint? Am I allowed to paint? What do I do? Muffin is gonna be a tough crowd. How do I paint? Do I paint? Am I the artist? What do I do? Can I open these now? Nope, still locked. Okay. Yeah, you spooking me? You spooking mom? You spooking mom? Yeah, you are. Well, I have a feeling that as soon as I try to leave, something's gonna fucking happen. So let's just get that over. I didn't even leave and something already. Wait, where am I? What? That is not what that room looked like. The fuck? Okay. Why are you dark? The fuck? Where? Oh my god, I can open the curtains. I don't know how I feel about being able to open the curtains. Oh no, I can't open the... Okay, good. Just out of reach. Cool, 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 cool. All right, let's get out of this fucking demented room. Why does this... Why? Why? Stop it! At least the plants are alive this time. What are you fucking... Okay, all the lights are gonna turn off. I already know this. Going... Yeah! I feel like I am. I feel like I'm definitely going in circles. Oh, look, she's so pretty. Wait, where'd it go? I wanted to turn it around. Do not with that creepy shit. Dear sir and madame, we must kindly, albeit strongly, urge you to keep your voices down during the night. Your marital problems, while regrettable, are a private matter and should remain that way. They are certainly of no concern to us and especially our children. Please consider that not everyone is a freelance artist. Some of us have to get up early and work for a living. We need our sleep. We must also warn you that if things continue the way they are now, we will be forced to call the police. Sincerely, your very tired neighbors. Okay. Okay, I hate the wind. Oh, Save the date. Blank and blank requests the pleasure of your company to celebrate their wedding on Saturday, the 9th of June at St. Luke's Chapel at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay. Hello, box of nightmares. Oh, you look very uncomfortable. You don't look as uncomfortable. Okay, creepy nightmare box. Let's. Okay. What was it? June the 9th? So maybe like 0, 6, 9? Six, 9, 2? Maybe 9, 2, or maybe 9, 6, 2? 9, 6, 2? Man, I have no idea. 2, 6, 9? Okay, if you could like whisper the code to me. You are not helpful. Sir. Muffin! Muffin! Are you going to tell me? Now is the time. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay, that's just the other drawer. Yes, I know you want to be open. I too want your secrets. Thanks. Super appreciate that. The past holds you back. Look,
The thought alone that the most beautiful piece of art doesn't have my name on it is killing me. So, will you marry me?
wait, she's your art? That's creepy. I thought we already looked at the ring. Okay, can I look even closer? Me, like, taking it literally. Oh. I wonder what would have happened, like, if I could have gone backwards. The temptation to, like, not go that way is very strong right now. Like, what happens if I try to go backwards? But we'll take the linear path set before us. Oh, no, 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 no. Muffin. We talked about this. No rocking chairs. This is not encouraging me to come in. Like the temptation to just be like, bye. Oh no, it's locked. I have no fucking choice. Muffin. Muffin! Quit it. What happens if we just... Still? I do not want to get into this room. Ugh. Okay, what happens if we just, like, ignore you, Muffin? You've been snooking. You've been snooking. You've been snooping around my workshop. Again, for the last time, you are not allowed in that room. Even if the door happens to be open, I forbid it. This is your last warning. Next time, you'll have to look for a new job. Look. Look. Did I, like, murder my assistant? Sir. Muffin. No. No. I have to be more brave while alive. Were there something that I was just recording for myself, I would sit here for about 10 seconds just crying. But no, we're gonna go over and say hi to Muffin. Hi, Muffin. What? Now you stop rocking? Now you stop rocking? Really? Muffin! There's a rat trap again. Am I the rat? Do not with that music. Oh! Oh! No! No! Motherfucker! Could you not? I don't got this. I don't got this. That is fucking... This is nightmare fuel. I hate you. I hate you. You creep me the fuck out. That creeped me out first. And then I noticed that monstrosity. Christ. Can I lift it up? Can I push it down? Do you need some water? I'm just gonna sit here and play with the clicky globe. That seems very incorrect. Goodbye, Doom Baby. Oh. Okay. Why are there two faces in all of these paintings? Oh, I'm in a creepy hallway. Alright, let's just run. Nope, we don't need to...
Now, a tiny bit to the left. Yes, just like that. Hold that pose. I want to get all those lovely curves just right.
I'm a flirt. Did I cheat? Oh. Nope. Did I cheat on my wife? I'm gonna be so annoyed if I cheated on my wife. Or was that how I met my wife? Oh, I thought the fire was footsteps at first. Oh, God. Me thinking the sound of the fire is comforting. And knowing that's not gonna last. Jesus. Mouse friend, no! What are you doing? Well, apparently we don't need rat poison. Because they'll just take care of themselves. We're just going to ignore that. Ignore the rat babies. Okay. Oh, fuck you! Oh, did I scare you? I'm sorry. Oh, baby, I'm okay. I promise I'm okay. Yeah. You trying to comfort mamas? Who are you trying to comfort mama? You're such a good girl. My Rose over here, like, are you okay? Good girl. Here, come sit on mommy's feet. Good girl. Protective book. Protective booger. Yes, good girl. I am absolutely giving her love right now. Oh. Christ. I was really not expect. What the fuck is that? Right. I don't like this room. Let's go. Knowing that in every room there's something that's going to make me scream and cry is like not okay. Hey, in regards to your previous letter, I'm sure it's nothing to be too concerned about. Women tend to get weird after having a baby, hormone imbalances, and the like. When we had our first, I remember Valerie got the blues real bad. I would ask her what she wanted for lunch, and she just burst into tears. Just be there for her, and I'm sure it's going to be fine. Now, I know I promised not to rush you, and by all means, enjoy your well deserved time off. But just to let you know, I'm getting phone calls up the yin yang, commissions left and right. You're a hot ticket, my friend. Maybe we should strike the iron while it's hot. But of course, the family comes first. Your friend and agent, Thomas Caldwell. I'm hungry and scared. Oh, oh. Can you hear that? the temptation to just turn up the audio a little bit. I am going to turn the audio up a little bit. I want you to hear that. Okay, no, it's just the character swaying back and forth. It looked like someone ran across the window. Oh, God. Oh, the temptation to just not go into this fucking room, not gonna lie. But I don't really think I have a choice, do I? Muffin? I can't open that door. That is not a door I can interact with. Why am I hearing whispers?
Hello. It's about time for us to talk, don't you think? I mean, I've seen you in my house so many times, and yet I could never find the courage to face you directly. Not until now.
Oh, God. I have a choice to make. Okay. I think we're gonna put this up to a vote. How do I do a vote? I think I have to actually... Zeph, can you start a vote that just says left or right? And have it last 5 minutes. Because I think we're going to take a quick break. Let's see. If Zeph's not around, I can do it myself. Mute. This is horrifying. I want you all to know this. Absolutely terrifying. Oh, there we go. It started. Cool. It did start. Okay. So, with this nightmare, let's go ahead and let's do a quick vote. We'll take a quick break. I'll say like 5-ish minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. I want to get a little snack. Please take a moment to get some food, get some water, take care of yourself, my friends, my citizens, my tourists. And I will be back shortly. And don't forget to vote.
The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Center.
Okay, friends, we are back, and it looks like left one. So we will be going through the left door. I hope everyone had enough time to take care of themselves, but I got a little bit of a snack and not sure that I'm ready to keep going, but you know what? We're going to keep going regardless. So, yay. And Zeph, for me, the polls are at the very top of the chat. Like, that's how you see them. All right. You say that, but I really do not. Oh. Are you shitting me? Well, I'm so glad I had you guys, tell me which way to go, only for me to not be able to go that way. Oh, Christ, you're so quick with the clothes. Am I ready for this? I wish I had a fucking flashlight. The way in which I am not ready for anything. What the fuck is this room? Did she, like, drown herself? Oh, I heard the door close. I don't like the music. Wait, we're back in the kitchen. Muffin? Muffin? I do not like all the shit I am hearing. Can I take the knife? Oh, the scale's broken. Okay, I think I've stalled long enough that I can handle going through this room. I lied. Why is everything vibrating? Hi. I can't see shit. I should not have walked away. I should have just opened the fucking door. Christ. Where? Hello? No, it is black? Nope.
First, I looked for a canvas.
Is that skin?
Not just any canvas. I had to find a knife. Not one of those bread ones. It needed to be as sharp as a razor. So I used a razor, in fact, and then carefully flayed the skin. Booze helped keep my hand steady.
Did you just fucking... Okay. There's doors opening and closing. Okay, you know what? I have a feeling I have to weigh that. No? No? Well, there's a completely dark room that way. I swear to God, what is opening and closing? Well, there's no way in fuck I'm going to be able to navigate a place that's completely black. Why do I just have a fucking piece of skin? Oh my God, I hate this game. Ugh. Can I pick up like a light or something? Christ. Ugh. Fuck it, at this point I just want to be out of the dark. Are there no pictures? Shapeless dreams. Oh no! There's a lot of shapes. None of this is fucking shapeless. Deep breaths. Remember, you're a professional. It's just the first few strokes. Then you're over the hump. What's so hard about it? With blood on it. Or paint. Hate. Lost. Even now you deserve it. Finish it. First, I looked for a canvas, not just any canvas. I had to find a knife. Okay. What the fuck am I drawing? Okay, I feel like that would have been a better pause point. I'm already like, we just got back and I'm ready for another break. um. Okay. Hydrate. Yep, let's hydrate. Oh, let's hydrate. You know, I just read an interactive spooky game. Interactive portraits. This was really not what I was expecting. No, don't with the spooky music. Please don't with the spooky music. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Not ready. Not ready. Oh, safety first. Okay. I am reckless. I apparently skinned. Okay. I wonder if I could have stopped the elevator before now. How many fucking doors are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Everyone just put numbers in the chat. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Because if I happen upon something horrifying, I can blame all of you. Okay. 10 and 69 are not options. Zeph, make a poll if you're going to be difficult. Okay. 2 or 4? Oh, 2 or 4 and you pick 3. Christ. Okay. Well, that's majority for 2. Oh, all right. Let's try 4. All right. You know what? Let's try 1. 3 it is. That door just opened. No. No, 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 no. Creepy man, baby. God, this game. No. Fuck no. No. Fuck. Oh, that is. Hmm. That is some nightmare fuel. It's okay. Is it okay? This looks like the opposite of everything okay. What happens if we just close the door? I'm just gonna stare at the ground and walk inside. Okay. Nope, I need that. Okay. Dear sir, well, I can certainly understand that you are upset, and I have nothing but sympathy for your wife and yourself. I must categorically state that I do not wish to receive any further correspondence from you in this matter. Any skin graft procedure is extremely complicated and inherently associated with the risk of failure. Having stated that, I assure you that me and my colleagues at St. Anne have made every effort to ensure a positive outcome for your wife. Personally speaking, I believe we have done the best job possible considering the extent of the tissue damage. You are, of course, entitled to your opinion, and I can certainly understand your disappointment. What I do not understand is how you seem to think writing hateful letters to me, or my fellow doctors, will... I don't know that word. Will ameliorate the situation? I don't know that word. As I've already stated, I can certainly understand you've been under a lot of stress as of late, and thus I will not press charges if you refrain from any further correspondence. Let me make it absolutely clear that I will not tolerate any further threats aimed at my staff, my family, or myself. If you wish to seek psychological help, I can have my assistant provide contact information for several specialists. He would be more than competent to help you get through these hard times. With regards and best wishes for you and your wife, William Green. I have a feeling that if I put this letter down, something is going to happen. And I'm not sure how I feel about something about to happen. Hi, Miko. I am having a mental breakdown. Well, at least now we know that the skin came from the wife. My brain is very Baja blasted right now. Bajas blasted. Okay. We're just gonna Get that key. What? I didn't even close the door and it's all different.
Why did you stop? That tune was perfect. Honey, please, just a little longer. At least until I finish painting this one part. Oh, don't make me beg.
Oh, the music stopped. Okay. Cool. All right. All right, one or two. Oh, one it is. Oh, okay. Well, something's on fire. Cool, I didn't want to go in there anyway. That's fine. Fuck! I changed my mind. I want to go into the fire. Okay. I feel safe. Do you feel safe? I feel very safe. Look, a door. Not that I feel like we're gonna get to it. Fuck it. Let's see what happens. Huh, we survived. I was not expecting that. No, no. Oh. Oh. No, no. Mm. Well, at least the sound stopped. I hate everything about this game. I hate everything about this fucking game. Ah. Does it glitch? It shouldn't be glitching. Warning signs. The following list is a compilation of the most common symptoms of schizophrenia. While typically diagnosed between the ages of 15 and 25, the disorder is known to affect older patients as well. Note that these symptoms are not exclusive to schizophrenia and should by no means be threatened as conclusive evidence of this particular affliction. In order to obtain a proper diagnosis, you should contact a qualified specialist, psychologist, Christ, or a psychiatrist. Blank expression stares off into space. Yes. Involuntary facial movements. Yes. Insomnia. Haven't noticed. Unusual gestures or postures. Always had that. Unable to experience joys from activities, including skinning your wife. Definitely. Depersonalization. What does that even mean? Awkward, clumsy movement. Might be from the accident. Prone to anger or resentment. More passive aggressive. Lack of motivation. Yes. Suicide tendencies. Question mark. I wonder if that was the old classification for whatever time period this game is supposed to be during. That's not even a door! I have 2 doors that are open. Are you shitting me? And there's writing over there, so I want to read the writing. Oh, I am not sure how much more of this game I'm going to be able to play. Wake up your mind. That's not a door. Okay. Oh, that was me. That was me just knocking it. I keep forgetting that I can actually interact with the environment. Why are there photos that, like, I can't interact with? Not the music. Not the music. This room again? No! Is that a branch? I hate everything about this room. I hate everything about this room. I'm wondering if we should call it a night on this game and switch to something a little less horrifying. Because I think I need a break from the spooks. What should we... If I do switch, leaving it on this horrifying cliffhanger, I am not stepping into the light. No. I've had enough spooks for one night. We're just gonna... Oh, I can only continue? I can't save? Motherfucker. Why is your head see-through? Oh. That's not a terrifying painting at all. Nope, it's all good. Everything is fine. Everything is A-okay. I'm feeling fine. Look at that beautiful fire. Now time to cry as I open this door. Okay. Muffin, why are you so angry at me? That was a save point, probably, right? Probably a save point. Let's call it a save point. Okay. Usually I sing. Each new area that opens is a checkpoint. Okay, so it's saved. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Let's figure out what else to play. I'm thinking I could do a little. I would like to do a little more Grandia, but I have been mostly screaming. So I'm not sure if I could do a lot of voice acting. Um, so let's see what other options there are. Let's look at my game list. Let's look at my library. I will hydrate, yes. What do I have installed? Installed. Perfect. Okay. I did get another few horror games, but I don't currently want to play a horror game. Let's see. Or if I was going to play a horror game, it would have to be like Phasmo, because to be honest, that's probably all that I can handle right now. Oh, I could always do some more Mass Effect, or I did download The Sims. I haven't really played much of that. I do have Hades, but I haven't played that for a while. And that's a little more chill than I was going for. That moment when you have too many games to play. Let's go ahead and just finish up here. Are you sure? Yes. Yes. I'm very sure. I'm very sure I want to be done with that game right now. Yes. I just kind of want to vibe a little bit. I do know that at some point I want to bring back. Let's switch to just chatting for a moment. Okay. So, I guess a few small things. I did get a few more horror games that I do plan on playing, and I do want to play more of these one-player horror games. Because it will basically force me to play them. Whereas with Phasmo, if I get scared at this point, I can just kind of take a step back and stop playing. I do have a lot of other one-player games that I want to play, and I feel like I'm not very good at shooters, so I do have like Halo and Rogue Company, but I don't know if I'm actually going to stream those just because I'm not good at them. So it would mostly be anyone who is watching me play that suffer. Um, I do actually want to bring back playing Among Us and First Class Trouble. Like, I feel like First Class Trouble is a lot of fun. And if you haven't played it, it is basically like Among Us, um, but in space. And I very much so enjoyed that game. I would love to play it again. But I think a lot of the people who I normally play it with are currently at work or generally busy. So I don't really have that available to play right now. Well, okay, yes, Among Us is in space, but think like 1950s in space, if that makes sense. I have Minecraft, but I'm terrible at Minecraft. So that would definitely be something that I would want to play with somebody. As is Stardew Valley. I do love me some Stardew Valley. Well, okay, let me clarify. I have played it a couple of times, but have not gotten very far. So that's another one that I would like to play with somebody. And Tabby, are you interested in playing something with me? Is that what those little eyeballs are? What are you thinking? What do you want to play with the mayor? Yeah? Well, Tabby is always being called out. That's what we do here. Um, well, are you available tonight or do you want to save it for later? And I'm tempted to bring back some of the games that are kind of like have a bunch of different endings. So like Stanley Parable, um, those kinds of things. What's Gone Home? Is that another horror game that I randomly bought and haven't played? Probably. I have Garfield Kart. Well, I've also got let's see. Who who made this game? It is absolutely ridiculous. It is terrible, but wonderful, but terrible. What other games did this company do? Because I know Stanley Parable did a few different games. Cancel. I said Stanley, not. Maybe we could do that. Do you guys want to do some Stanley Parable? The Ultra Deluxe. Do I not own Stanley Parable? Do I not own Stanley Parable? Did I play that on someone else's account? All right, Galactic Cafe, what do you have? Beginner's Guide. I do have the Beginner's Guide, which I've never played. So maybe we can check that out. What do you think? Let's give that a shot. But first, let's go on another break. And Tabby, since you're eating, eat first. And then let me know when you're done. And we can play something. How's that sound? Um I really want to try Forgotten City, but I have a feeling that I would play Forgotten City uh the wrong way. I've heard that there's no way to play that wrong, but I would screw something up and accidentally murder somebody that I didn't mean to. So, let's go ahead and take a quick break, and then we'll switch to that game. And yeah, take care of yourselves. I'm munchy. I'm gonna get a snack.
The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices. The mayor of Centerville would like to remind all citizens that rebreathers are mandatory in all non-border compartments due to a risk of hypercapnia-related asphyxiation and other incident-related atmospheric contaminants. Until climate control functionality is fully restored, citizens are not to acquire augmentations, prosthetics, or upgrades requiring cooling due to the extreme risk of hyperthermia. Similar body modifications requiring integral batteries are likewise counterindicated due to a combination of a risk of battery containment failure due to overheating and a lack of logistical support for such devices.
Okay, we are back, and I'm glad that my lipstick still looks okay because I can't find my mirror. Oh, it's right in front of me. All right, so we're gonna play Beginner's Guide, which is along the same lines as, I believe, I didn't get Rose water. Let me get Rose some water. Okay. Now we're back. You know, I have to say, I'm really surprised that after how much torture I put Bill through yesterday, that he's not here making me do stupid shit. But let's get this started. I don't remember where I left off and whatever I was saying, but that's okay. Let's go. All my murders are accidental. I don't know what you're talking about. Audio is on. Really easy tutorial so far.
Hi there.
Oh.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide.
You're welcome.
My name is Davy Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Coda.
Okay.
Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was
Apparently
really
it's
struggling with some personal
story
stuff.
time.
And his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Coda's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Coda starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since. And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together.
What is this
It's because
game?
I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
Whisper machine status active. Evacuate immediate. Oh!
Warning. Whisper machine active. Ship destruction imminent.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda. You can click to fire the gun.
That's good to know.
Security call reached. Hostile alien life form inbound.
It kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
What is this game?
Enemy force neutralized. Begin ship evacuation.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Oh, you can. Okay. Is it a bowling ball? I am just out of bullets.
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
What? Why? Why? Fuck you.
Or if you'd really like to solve the labyrinth, you're welcome to do that too.
I was at the end of the fucking labyrinth. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting.
Is it?
The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all.
Can I?
That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
My body.
Your body
Knew
will
it.
stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it?
Whose lives?
Would you give yourself?
Yes, I would.
Let me pause here for a second. What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh! Oh, this is awesome.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system.
Are you interpreting that, or did he say that?
Or the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh. That's weird.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Code is trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
I like this. Okay, I like this game. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
This is awful. You are now entering... Can I crouch? Oh, I can crouch. Safety crawl.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
What is this?
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Aren't most artists that way?
I know it's tempting, but there's actually nothing over here. Sorry.
Okay, the background noise is weird. I hate that he tells me that there's nothing. Like, let me explore, dude. Maybe the vast nothingness is part of the game. Or maybe there's a glitch. Me. An hour ago. I hate attics. Me. Stairway to heaven. Can I fall off? Can I jump off? What? I cannot jump off.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all?
Temptation?
Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
Why can't we just go at a crawl? You're ruining the spirit of the game, sir. The point, I believe, is our curiosity will force us. Like, I think it really shows what kind of person you are. Are you curious enough to go through this trudgingly slow pace to see? Or are you just gonna quit? Like, you're ruining the spirit of the game, dude. To stand at bear for... stand on an X, staring at a bear for 3 hours. You construct a wall. The wall is destroyed. You are given a medal. Sharks are trying to eat you. Simultaneously, you are trying to eat the sharks.
With little ideas for games.
Live on a boat. Take orders from the captain. The captain is always wrong. You start
Coda
in a
would often
small
tell me that
room.
he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that.
A
It
stranger
can be a very slow climb to get there.
appears. You are in a small shop inside your own body, selling your organs strategically to make the most money before you die. Ready, set, fish. Is this the captain one? Huh. This construction looks familiar.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it.
Do you just open the door? I don't think I can solve it. Is there anything else to interact with? Anything above the doors? I really suck at puzzle games. I really, really do. See, now is what I need you to... What if I just walk backwards? No. What if I just don't go through the door? Nope, I'm stuck.
Alright, let me just walk you through it.
Thank you.
You're gonna hit the switch on the outside to open the door, then hit the same switch and walk through the door before it closes. You'll see a second switch on the inside, which will open the second door. Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
Oh.
We're gonna see it a lot.
Okay. Terrible at puzzle games. Terrible at puzzle games. Was someone knocking?
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Oh. Whoa. What? How do I get there?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world.
I wish to jump through.
I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I don't like this one. You are now exiting.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
The Great and Lovely Descent.
Let's talk about video game development for a second. Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
I'm not sure I'm streetwise.
Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
I can fall off this time! Hell yeah! I don't know why it's so exciting. Okay, I don't like the ambient noise of, like, doors opening. Not after that previous fucking game. Am I cattle? No. Fuck you. Fuck you. What if I want to get in this cell? Ba ba, black sheep, have you any wool? Wait, why am I going up? No, let me out. What? This is extremely ominous.
This prison, funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
I think
There wasn't.
the fact that you were playing it was the point. Huh. Okay. You know, I would have spent that entire hour trying to figure out if I could get out. Like, what am I missing? What am I missing?
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time. There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
That the answer is where you're not looking? Or what you can't see? Gotta dig a little deeper? Hey there, did you come
Here,
from up
Coda
above?
begins using a kind of dialogue
What was
system
up there?
that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
I think I'll go with 1. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with 2 doors and switches? I'll go with 1 again. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us how to get to the other side. Is it the same? Is it the same thing? But it'll grow on you?
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
This is... It's like an existential crisis. If an existential crisis was a video game.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Will it? Because this really is just an existential crisis. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All the notes you see are left by other players. What if I don't want to read? Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Coda. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing.
Let me jump.
So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person.
Can you guys hear me?
In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy.
Hello.
Trying to get his attention.
Reasonable. Gee, I have no idea what that's
he
like.
was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually. Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
I want to tell you a
Either
secret.
way, to me they convey a sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and
balls
beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
But can I jump?
But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Is this your boyfriend? I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. New room. Do you hear the chimes? They keep you going, don't they? I would like very much to be desired. It's not very crowded here. Scared of writing something. Don't want to feel judged. A game where you leave notes and suddenly everyone's a poet. Don't bother. You can go in here, I think. Welcome, congratulations. I don't know what to do with this. Damn it. I like how I can jump, but I can't fall. This is where I get off. I failed to write anything here. I am compelled. Stop, turn back. Proceeding further will only result in misery. Take my hand, let's jump together. I mean, I'm trying. Cabbage shapes our nation. What is this painting? Hey, don't talk about it that way. It does not matter if you ever go over there. A very good game. I think this is not going anywhere. Next time I will do better. I need someone to talk to. This is a note. Don't listen to the other notes. I'm not safe. Today I learned you cannot fall off. Ethical. There's so few notes as you get deeper. I saw a person walking down there, now it won't come back. Well done, all of you. Painting, what does it mean? Why does it need to mean anything? Stop faking it. Art. From up here, it looks like dots. It is dots. I think it's about how things look messy from up close and perfect from far away. Hey guys, how's it hanging? Help, I'm trying to speak. Whoever made this has issues. Who are all of you? Devil Tower Star. We will all die someday. Cabbage shapes our nation, which we've read before. Spoilers, it doesn't mean anything, which we've read before. Stop pretending you are other people. It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. Devil Tower Star. He was, himself, the most horrible creature he could imagine. I don't think Hoda's okay. Maybe I'll feel real someday. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it, though. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game. More room?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle.
Scared of writing
and
something.
Here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means.
We don't want to feel judged.
Each of these games represents an idea that was
Escape.
on Coda's mind at the time that he was making
Cut it up.
And the puzzle is a way
Almost
of closing
there.
the door on a previous
I've
chapter
seen
of
everything.
his life before moving on to the next one.
I wish there were notes in the real world. I hate that it's getting louder and it's just whispering, help us. Become one with the spiraling nonsense. Downward, keep
In
digging.
each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then
Close
place
your
this
eyes.
puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Does this puzzle have a solution? Oh my god, I have been here literally for an hour. Help. Help. This doesn't make sense. The second door won't open. Shit, how do you solve it? Developer, answers,
And
please.
because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces,
I'm heading back.
before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
This is creepy. Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
Porn stars die too. Coda? You okay? Oh, this is beautiful. I would do that to my wall. Hi, Doc. I screamed a lot. It was terrible. And now we're having an existential crisis in real time.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
That's the well we got stuck in. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? A giant hole in the ground. That is not a giant hole in the ground. What about along the wall? 10 stoves. Tesla coils in each corner. Let's do 2. I like how nothing that you pick makes a difference.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Is it? I don't think it's weird for weirdness' sake.
So, okay.
I think it's showing that we don't have a choice.
This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully. Take care that you remember each step. First, click on this table. Good. Go over to the photo flame and click to turn it slightly. I literally can't do anything else. Now turn the lamp off. Now go to the left side sofa. Finally touch the shelves. That's it. In a real prison, the escape will now open. Return to the start. To be taken back? Return. It's weird.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this. To see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop. That particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just
I want to jump!
And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going. And then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
This is so weird. I mean, is it a maze? This would be a really nice farm for some goats. Hello? Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you from after you escaped the prison. You're me? So you were trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation.
I
And
was
so
in the
this
furniture
is what Coda
maze.
wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get
That's
some
where I
good
am right
advice
now.
from someone who knows.
I'm so glad to
But
know
the
that I
irony
get
is
out
that even
eventually.
in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself.
What's it like to
You know,
escape?
all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
It feels like being completely still and wildly in motion at the same time. Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out, and then things will be exactly the same as before. No, I'm really the same person now as I was back then. It actually does change. I don't feel like the same person at all. Oh, good. That's so nice to hear. That makes me feel really happy. Age just does that kind of thing, you know? I'm still me, but I'm not somehow. It's hard to describe. Remember to enjoy being who you are right now. It won't last. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of yourself when you were trapped? Yes, I did get a call. That's how I escaped. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? All they told me was to be sincere. They just talked to me for a while. They asked me how I felt about being imprisoned. What? That freed you? How does that work? You can't know until you're out, but I promise it works. It will make sense. Okay, I can talk. Let's just talk to a bit. Will you be here? I will be here for as long as you need.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself?
Or it's about lying to yourself to get through the hard times. Or it's about knowing that you can rely on yourself in the hardest of times. There's a lot of different ways to look at this. It's really interesting that the narrator only has one view.
To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Everything is subjective. I'm scared of doors now. Everything absolutely is framed by whoever is sharing it. The weird box head people weird me out. Well, my goodness, I'm glad as all heck that you showed up. Though I might be having to clean this entire house by myself, and right miserable that would have been.
You'll notice
Everyone
that the
knows
quality
Lonesome
of the
Hand
art
makes
is a
lousy
step up from
homes.
previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Something tells me you're gonna be fun to do this job with. Well, this place isn't cleaning itself as far as I know. I'll finish up here. In the meantime, could you please clear the table? Much nicer. That's a table I want to see. Now would you please run into the bedroom and make the bed? I like how I immediately went to straighten the rug because it was bothering me before it even told me to. How did you end up getting this job? It is a very lovely song. Can I want to go to that door. Would you straighten these pillows here? Yeah. Why am I doing all the cleaning? Someone spilled a drink. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it incredibly cheesy. No? No, it was stupid. Sorry, never mind. Hey, these dishes need to be washed. Last I checked, the tub needed cleaning. How about you scrub it down as best you can? No need to be perfect, we're all just human. Are there books? You clear these.
After the intense set of prison games, his house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Does it? Your house is only as difficult to clean as you are. Well, fuck. If you're finding the work hard, maybe you have a bit of housekeeping to do before you come to work.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was, like, grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Is it just the same thing over and over? I was going to say that it occurs to me that the house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. But there's a bit of truth in that. Housekeeping, let's keep doing this. Books, would you please clean up the books? Thanks. Can I do the dishes instead? Nope, I gotta do the books.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace. But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't
The walls
stay
are
in
gone.
the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Wait, do I literally die? I don't think I literally die. Oh, the end.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you have to pick up and move. I really thought that was the point of it.
Items you
This
love
one gets
at
a bit
members only
beefy.
prices. Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to be perfect, which is a prison unto itself. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your life? Who do you know who is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourselves, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, and grateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how we do it, but how we do it effortlessly.
About halfway
This is
through the
easy.
game,
It is so
perspective
easy.
shifts.
It is so easy. Being perfect is effortless.
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Can I leave? If you are torturing yourself trying to find the right solutions for your life, you're not doing it right, okay? Seek out only one thing. What is the easiest, simplest path to move forward? That is terrible advice. There is no truth. There is no path. Holy shit, you guys. Something is coming out of the back of the room. Look out. Everyone run.
I fell pretty hard for this one.
Perfection.
I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
Why is this game... Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you will be playing as me. We are at a gathering of professionals. First, you start out leaning against this wall. The wall that just appeared out of nowhere. Good, stay right there. The woman across the room, in this chair, is a professional photographer of animals. It's your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on. Say something to her. Where is the bathroom? What are you doing? You're deflating. You're deflecting. You're not saying what's actually on your mind. Stop dancing around it and have a conversation with this person. Do it again. I'm super, super scared right now. No. That's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's that you need a better feel of the setting. There were a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them will represent the people nearby. Now talk to her again. They make noises. Hello, Danny. They do look like the little air fresheners, don't they? You're happy. Can I ruin that? What are some sacrifices you've had to make? You're messing it all up again. You're welcome. I'm not good at socializing. You'll freak her out if the conversation gets that personal that quickly. Oh, I missed it. I want to try something. Try stepping back from the stage. That's the end? Failing got me to the end?
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution, social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world.
I think it's the beginner's guide.
For him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Sorry. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. You know what? Fuck it. Let's try it. I have no idea what's happening because my eyes are in fact closed. My dog is snoring. I wish someone could guide me. Oh, I didn't even begin the game. Okay. Eyes are closed. Everything is on fire. One, two, three. I did something.
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already.
Okay.
It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh, shit. What is going on? Oh. Is there a solution? The only way to stop it is to speak to something that is honest. I am bursting with creative energy. I can't keep making these. My work is always fun. Yes, that's it. That's the truth.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. first off, he's never been this explicit in his
It
work
is
about
draining
exactly
me.
what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his
I think
work has
it's
potentially stopped being an outlet for him.
been there.
Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way.
We're going to be okay. We're going
His
to
games
be
are going
okay.
to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Hello? Oh, this is pretty. Is talking the solution? Why is the music? I haven't talked. It's been a long time since I talked to someone. What is wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh. Oh, I'm stuck. Oh, That's not good. There we go. Oh no. What happened? Did something change? There was a machine that kept me going and it stopped. I'm trying to find this engine that used to protect me to start it again. Can I jump? Wait, you're looking for a machine. I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it to know why it stopped. I'll take you to it, but there is a problem.
Featured Coda talking explicitly about his
It's guarded
creative
by a
frustrations.
difficult
This
puzzle.
one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps
I picked
throwing
3
himself
and it
into the
said
grinder,
deal.
even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for?
Come along, I'll show it
'Cause
to you.
From my perspective at the time, and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
I wonder if I keep saying you have to close the door, what will happen?
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
Is that someone crying? So I have to keep lying? This is weird.
Seeing
Do
this
you
game at
become the
time that he made
machine?
it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything
Oh, look, the prison.
for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
This is creepy. I am the machine. Okay. I intend to be brutal. Let's see what that means. That gets us. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing that you should know about this machine. It calls itself Coda. Ew. Bye.
And of course, it's the machine.
Those people out there, can you imagine what pain you've put them through? It was only because of your creations that any of us could make it through every day. How could we possibly go back to trusting you to do this job? These are all terrible. So here's what needs to happen. You need to go to the people who are out there and apologize to them. You have to admit to the people that you allowed them to suffer. I've been so alone. No, nothing. Think carefully, I know how to hurt you. I have seen the thing you fear. Alright then. I will speak to them for you. My followers. It falls on me to deliver bad news. I have had a troubling revelation. The machine will not apologize to us. The machine refuses to admit that it deliberately hurt us. But this is not important. We are stronger than it thinks we are. We will find a way to live without it. We do not need its games. Let us pay it retribution. Let us show it that we are not failures. Follow me, we will destroy the machine. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine created. You're not following me. Oh, I can literally destroy it.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his game.
No.
It might get him out of isolation.
No.
And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it.
No.
Because it would never occur to
No.
Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings,
No.
would that bring him out of his mental spiral?
No.
Would it give him confidence in himself?
No.
Would it bring meaning back into his work?
No. You fool.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
There is everything for him to be afraid of, and that was not your... That was his choice to make. This... Ugh. This mother be dumb. Put down your weapon.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do?
No!
It's the thing that I always feel like I need.
You are not
That my work is
him.
good. That I am good.
He doesn't
when
need that.
someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better.
That's you, that's not
I
him.
got to give that very same feeling to my friend.
Why are you making
I
this
did
about you?
something- I really felt like I'd done something good.
You did the
like-
wrong thing.
like I was a good person. I felt like
You
there
did
was
the
a
wrong
friend
thing.
who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it.
You
If
tried,
I
but
could
you
give them
failed.
This gift, maybe I could fix the problem.
Incorrect.
When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Why is this about you?
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while.
I can't blame him. I'd be pissed
So
at
this
you.
is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made.
Because you put him in a tower, you dipshit.
So let's take a look.
I feel like this is how neurotypicals feel when they're dealing with people who are neurodivergent.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work.
There is so much
Because
meaning
more
in
than
this.
anything else, the tower just feels distant.
Because
It feels
you
like
did
it's
that.
trying to distance itself from the world.
Because you did that.
It's a very cold game.
Because you did that. Why aren't you more thankful to me for going against your wishes?
This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all.
What it feels like to be
But I do want to
autistic.
show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Narrators are awful. Okay. Can we jump off? And the sound gets worse as you go. This is exactly how it feels like being autistic and trying to have a conversation with somebody who expects you to read all these signs that you can't fucking see. And it's like you're walking on landmines constantly.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable.
It's playable.
Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever.
That was the point.
So that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Navigating friendships.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't.
Maybe that's what he wanted, was time.
I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Ugh. Humans. Damn it. I keep going one past.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, you know, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. Feel like a failure,
Sometimes space is the solution.
But I can open this door for you, so let me do that. Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know
You
why I
were
would be.
kind of
It's
a
not like
shitty friend.
Everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
Because you did.
I remember, it's June of 2011, I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them... I had been trying to, though, that was the thing. For years, I was trying to get
An
to know
extrovert
him,
trying to get
who
to
he
know an
actually
introvert.
was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him
Sometimes
please to
it's
tell
not
me
about what
he
it
thought
means
me.
to him.
And he wouldn't.
Like, that's fine though. There doesn't need to be
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Why do you want
That
it to
I
be
needed
yours?
To see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Because you did. And it's okay to fail.
Where did I screw up?
Dear Davy, thank you for your interest in my games. I need to ask you to not speak to me anymore.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
Yes.
It's because of what I did.
What did you do?
I poisoned it for you.
I wonder
I
at
don't think I ever
times
told you this,
whether you think I am making
but when
these
I took
games
your
for
work
you.
and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
You've so infected my personal
And
space that it's
the people who
impossible
played them,
that it's possible I
they
did begin
treated
to
me
plant
like I was
solutions
important.
in my
They
work
really
somewhere,
listened and
hidden
cared about
between
what
games.
I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was... I felt good about myself.
Would it make you any happier?
Finally, for a moment, while
Would you
I
stop
had
taking
that,
my games
I
and showing
liked
them to
myself.
people against my wishes? Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe? Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? Would you
And then you
simply
stopped.
let
And
me
I didn't have
be,
anything left to show people.
let them be what they are?
I just had to be with myself.
When I'm around you, I feel
And
physically
as soon
ill.
as that happened, there was
You desperately
no feeling at
need
all.
something, and I cannot give it to you.
Nothing.
I literally do
Less
not have
than
it.
nothing.
Struggling
What
to
is
come
that?
up with new ideas is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make sense to you yet. Which is fine. You're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks, and that you can make peace with this thing you are wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see it, what I am talking about, don't say anything. There's no
That's
solution.
why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world,
Coda
and if
had
I put
2
my name on
boundaries.
it, that maybe enough people will play
2.
it so that it'll find its way to you.
Don't play
so
my
that I can
games.
tell you that
Don't contact
I'm
me.
sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself.
Why is it about
I
you?
always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing.
The
and I'm doing
narrator
it
is a
again
friend.
Right now. Like I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again. Like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete.
Exactly.
I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was.
So why did you...
I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
It does. It sounds jealous and possessive and needy and me, selfish. Yeah.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Part of me wonders, like, yeah. Narrator really needs some therapy. It kind of makes me think of people who are in a bad spot, and both of them are in a bad spot. And they start dating because it feels good, and they think it's going to make everything better. And it distracts them. But the more time that they spend together, the more that they realize how harmful and toxic they are for each other.
Solution.
There doesn't need to be a solution. Sometimes there is no solution, and sometimes there's no way to make everything okay. And that's just what it is.
I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate.
Maybe you were seeing
Wouldn't have told
things
so
that
many
weren't
people
there
that he
because
was
that's how
depressed.
you feel.
Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Maybe he likes making games with no solutions. And sometimes the solution really is saying goodbye. And that's it.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I just think you need therapy. And you know, a lot of the times it's the journey. Sometimes there's no solution. And that's
If I knew that my
okay.
life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be?
Therapy.
It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable.
I get it. I'm a
Like,
Slytherin.
I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
But if you surround yourself with good people who don't, like, you'll get there. Again, sometimes it's the journey. Can I jump off? Damn it.
What now?
Well, I think that that's kind of the nice thing about these games, is it's also subjective.
I think I need to go.
You do.
And
To therapy.
I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do.
Therapy.
I have a lot that I need to make up for.
Therapy.
And so I'm just gonna...
Go to therapy.
Okay.
Therapy. Oh, I think this is my favorite area yet. Oh, this is so pretty. I love these doors. Mostly because there's no doors to suddenly close on me and make me cry. I like how I was thinking, oh, it's by the Stanley Parable guy, so it'll be fun. I'll find glitches. It'll be a good time to, like, relax after the spooky game. And, this is not that. Okay, let's fall in the hole. Oh. Is it gonna stop right before we make it to the door? Because I'll laugh. Yeah! My choice in games, like, lordy. Hey, Rev. Oh, we're back at the beginning. Oh. It's the solution from the first game. I wish I could run. Oh. Oh, shit. Oh, this is peaceful. And that is terrifying. I am too emotional for this game.
Turn back.
4R. Is that Coda?
Turn back from this cave. You said, let me prove that I'm brave. Let me keep going.
Oh, this is a very relaxing song. That will probably get flagged.
The cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're so tired, but I know that you're strong.
Oh, I wonder if I can find this song. This is beautiful.
So turn back. Turn back.
That was certainly a journey. Well, I wanted to end this on the fun note. Ah. I know. I was like, oh, well, let's do something fun. This is by the Stanley Parable people. That'll be cool. Give us a little bit of a breather after playing Layers of Fear. Was it? You've been subscribed for 12 months? Oh my gosh, that is so exciting. You should have. Do you have the? Yeah, because I think the 1 year is the pretty. Yeah. You've got the 1 year one. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. All of these 1 year ones. That's so exciting. Both of you have, yeah, both of you have the 12-month. Actually, I was just discussing yesterday that, funny enough, I hit affiliate. Let's switch to just chatting really quick. Hold on. So I was just discussing the other day with Tabby that I hit affiliate on December 4th. So, oh, thank you, Rev. Thank you so much for the bits. So I have been doing this for a little over a year now, which means a few of you actually are at the 1 year mark, which is crazy to think about that we are at that 1 year mark. That's awesome. Let me switch back to this. But I honestly didn't realize that it had been a year, so I didn't really plan anything special for it. And I was going to do the really cool here we go. I did want to do something kind of cool for basically the channel's birthday. But it wound up falling through, and I didn't really get to do a lot of celebrating. Ooh, that's exciting. New headset, heck yeah. Time really is non-existent at this point. Can you believe that we've known each other for that long now, Doc? We've known each other for such a long time now. Like, that's crazy to think about. And literally all from raiding someone random. It was my first raid. Someone random who had the wrong game marked. And you were going to be an asshole to me because I pointed out that you had the game, that Kurt had the wrong game marked. But instead you were sweet. But what could have happened had you been an asshole or had I gone into the wrong stream, it could have been something completely different. Oh no, I'm gonna tease you for that. Like, y'all tease me all the time. I get to return that favor. But it's just, it has been such a wild ride. It's because the Doc is very cute. It's true. Definitely can't help it. But it's weird to think that it's been so long and that it has been such a wild ride and that I'm really not that far from 500. And I've got that special t-shirt coming up for the 500 mark. Like, exciting. I've been thinking about what my streaming schedule is going to be, which for those of you who are not there, please feel free to join my Discord. I do have a poll up right now in my Discord that is basically asking what days work for you for some streaming. Right now I'm kind of thinking I might do like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, maybe a Tuesday here and there. If I do a Sunday stream, it might be either earlier or later. We'll see. That's kind of what I'm thinking right now. But I wanted your opinion on it. What days work for you? I also do have what kind of games that you're looking for. And you're always, always, always welcome to suggest games for me. Which is in the suggestions for your mayor section of the town hall. So you can make suggestions there. It sounds like some people are interested in doing like an exercise stream with me, which is terrifying to think about because I've never really led anything like that that wasn't like weights. So I've walked people through some of my exercises when I was at a gym, but I've never walked anyone through exercises in like this kind of environment. So I've been debating doing something like that, but only doing it in the Discord. Because I do have some exercise programs, and I figured that I could kind of share my stream and we could do it together. Because to be honest, I really do need to start doing some exercises. After that rebreather incident, my lungs are still just completely screwed. So that might be... I did do a good job showing you drumsticks, but showing you how to hold drumsticks is vastly different from this is the proper form for doing a squat. And these are things that you can do to make it more difficult. And these are things that you can do to make it more gentle. But I do need to be moving a little more after the rebreather incident. So I am kind of thinking about doing something like that. Now, when I exercise, I tend to not take days off. So that could very well be something where... you know, I'll just be in the Discord and I'll stream it, but I might not have my voice on because I'll be huffing and puffing. But just like short little 30 to 40 minute exercises that kind of walk you through the whole thing. So maybe that's something that we can do together, because I know that Doc was doing 31 days of drumming. Maybe we can do something like a month of exercises together. And the exercises that I'm looking at doing are very much for starter level. I do need to kind of take it easy into getting back into it. And I've done this program a few times. I've injured my back multiple times. I really do miss having cybernetic parts because I wouldn't have to worry about that if I had my cybernetic spine. But we don't have that here. So we can do some of the gentle programs that we have that are really good for just kind of overall strength and mobility. It's not going to work for everybody, but this is a program that I really like for me. So if you're interested in doing that program with me, we can kind of look into doing that. So I might start a poll that just is asking for general interest, but just know that because it's a program that I'll be streaming, it's not going to be something that I'll do to Twitch. It will be just something that I do in Discord. And I have another program that I was doing when I was working on bodybuilding, but that one I can only do from my phone, so that won't really be something that I can show you via Discord. Because I won't really be able to screen share. And that calisthenics program actually requires a lot of equipment, whereas the one that I'm doing whereas this other one that I'm thinking about doing really only requires a chair and then some floor space and a pillow. And that's it. So you can just do it in your living room, which will be really nice. And I'll probably do it at various times. Just don't judge me too hard on being sweaty and gross and out of breath. Sound good? So yeah, if that's something that you're interested in, I'll probably make a poll soon after this, and if you're interested in signing up, I can give you the role, and I'll probably make a different section in my Discord specifically for it. And we can kind of get back on track together. Let's start off the rest of the new year right. I need to be moving. I know a lot of us need to be moving so we can all be sweaty and gross. My one request in doing this, though, is if I am going to be doing this, I would feel more comfortable if other people also had their camera on. Just so I know no one's just kind of sitting in there being a pervert. Or maybe I will, instead of doing the video of me doing it, I can just show the video. Maybe we can do that instead. I'll think it over. We'll kind of see. And see what you're comfortable with. I just don't want anybody just like sitting in there watching people work out and like not doing anything. And if I see that someone's taking a break, maybe we can pause it and we can take that moment to get some water, because it would be something that's meant to kind of ease us into exercising. And I know that I kind of hop in really quickly and you're not supposed to do that. So an excuse to take it easy is probably a good thing for your mayor too. Got to build up that lung capacity again. But it is almost 9 tonight, so I think that's going to be it for me. Kind of thinking about keep in mind what games you answer. Just keep in mind the polls. If you could make suggestions on games and let me know what days work for you, that would be amazing. Otherwise, I just want to say thank you so much for joining me during this broadcast during your personal enrichment time. And should you have missed any portion of this, I actually do now have an archives channel on YouTube, which you can see in that link. It is literally just I download the stream and then I post it there unedited. So the whole thing's unedited. It's very raw. And I do plan on also doing some highlights. Hopefully, I really need to do that. I know I had a lot of really good screams this game, so maybe I'll do that for this last stream. And at some point, I need to make a trailer, because I don't have one. But anyway, if you are interested in watching any of my old videos, you can see some of them there. If you would like to become a registered lobbyist of Centerville, it does grant you such benefits as advance notice of upcoming content, access to elite chat rooms, and better access to the ear of your mayor. Please subscribe below. I do like to post a lot in there, and I do want to do some more subscriber only streams that will be in the Discord, but it'll just be like little things. So maybe I'll be showing some tips and tricks, or maybe I will be just kind of watching something and spending a little time with all of my registered lobbyists. That way it gives you an opportunity to talk to me and give me your feedback. Otherwise, citizens and tourists, I will see you at some point in the future. Announcements will be launched on our Twitter for upcoming broadcasts, which is in that socials link. Otherwise, please enjoy the rest of your scheduled personal enrichment time. I'm going to go ahead and switch it off to the stream ending. Just keep in mind that schedule is incorrect because I am messing around with the schedule a little bit. So, all right, I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a good night.